It was 4:17 p.m. when she appeared at my office door. Hair slightly unkempt, eyes red, not from crying, but from a kind of panic she couldn't disguise. I hadn't heard her voice in 2 weeks. Not a call, not a text, nothing. She stood there, clutching her phone, the same one she once guarded like a vault. Her mouth opened as if to speak, but nothing came out. The silence between us was heavier than any word she could have chosen. My colleagues glanced up, then away. They felt it too. Something private, dangerous, unraveling. She finally whispered, "Can we talk?" I looked at her for a long time. Not with anger, just quiet observation. The kind you give to something already dead, though it hasn't realized it yet. I gestured toward the hallway. She followed, slow and uncertain, heels clicking against marble like a countdown. When the door closed behind us, she broke first. "I didn't mean what I said that night," she stammered. "I was angry. I just needed space." Space. Yes, that word. The one that started it all. 2 weeks of space. 2 weeks of silence. 2 weeks of watching her online at 2 a.m. while telling me she was exhausted. I had given her exactly what she asked for. Now she stood here, breathing unevenly, because she couldn't stand the silence she created. I didn't answer. I just watched her, and that was enough to make her tremble. It started with her declaration, flat, controlled, surgical. "From now on, I decide when we spend time together. Stop bothering me." She said it in the kitchen, her back to me, pouring coffee she wouldn't finish. I remember the way her hand didn't shake. That's how I knew it wasn't a burst of anger, it was a statement rehearsed. I laughed softly. "Bothering you? I'm your husband." She didn't turn around. "Exactly," she said. That word lodged somewhere deep in me. Exactly. I didn't argue. I just watched her walk out the door in that measured, deliberate way she always did when she wanted to end a conversation on her terms. At first, I told myself she was just stressed. Work, family, exhaustion. It made sense. But then the patterns began. Late nights. Sudden new friends from work. Her phone turned face down on the table. The smell of a different cologne in her car. Still, I said nothing. I'm not the man who screams. I'm the man who waits. Silence has always been my sharpest weapon. On the 3rd day of silence, I began to notice how predictable she'd become. The lies were structured, the absences rehearsed. Every late meeting had the same digital footprint. So I watched, quietly. Phone records, GPS data, subtle inconsistencies in receipts. Little things she didn't think I'd notice. A perfume charge from a boutique she'd never worn. 2 tickets for a show I wasn't invited to. A hotel reservation under her name for 1 night midweek. Each clue built a timeline. And every night while she thought I was sleeping, I'd hear the soft vibration of her phone. Her laughter, low, private. The tone she once reserved for me. There's a point when love doesn't die, it calcifies. You stop bleeding and start analyzing. By the 10th day, I wasn't her husband anymore. I was her audience. Watching her craft an illusion she didn't realize was already unraveling. So, I waited. And when she said she was spending the weekend with a friend, I traced the reservation. Same hotel, same name, same pattern. I booked a room 2 floors above hers, not to catch her, just to confirm what I already knew. The confirmation came at midnight, her laughter in the hallway, followed by the sound of a door closing. I didn't move, I just listened. And when silence returned, I wrote 1 sentence in my notebook. Truth is patient. The results came 2 days later. Digital forensics, hotel footage, her messages recovered from a deleted folder. Nothing dramatic, no confessions of love, just patterns of deceit. Small, casual, repeated, like the erosion of stone by water. When she came home that night, I was sitting in the living room, Laptop open. One folder highlighted on the screen. She looked tired, drained. "Still not talking to me?" she asked, feigning irritation. I turned the laptop toward her. The silence that followed was almost beautiful. She froze. Her face, still, pale, then shifting between disbelief and dread. She didn't cry. Not yet. She just stared at her own words. I waited until she whispered, "You went through my phone?" I smiled faintly. "No. You left the truth in plain sight. I just stopped pretending not to see it." That broke her. Not the evidence, the calmness. Because calm means control, and she had none left. When she finally spoke, her voice cracked. "I made a mistake." I closed the laptop gently. "No," I said. "You made choices." She tried to step closer. I didn't move. Her tears came then, quiet, genuine, but meaningless. "I thought you didn't care anymore," she said. I looked at her, really looked. "You wanted space. I gave you a world of it." The words hit her harder than shouting ever could. Then I stood, walked past her. At the door, I paused. "You know what silence does?" I asked. She shook her head, eyes desperate. "It teaches people what life feels like without you. You taught me that lesson well." And then I walked away. No grand exit, no slammed doors, just quiet finality. 2 weeks later, she texted, "Can we talk?" I didn't reply, not out of spite, out of clarity. The silence she once demanded had become her prison. Mine had become my peace. I moved through my days with a new stillness. No obsession, no anger, just understanding. Some people destroy you by accident, others with precision. She had been both. But I was no longer her audience. When she appeared at my job that afternoon, tearful, shaken, pleading, I realized the reversal was complete. She was finally feeling what I had endured in silence. I didn't say yes, I didn't say no. I just looked at her the way she once looked at me, like a stranger, interrupting my peace. And as she stood there, waiting for a response that never came, I turned back to my desk. My final thought was quiet, cold, certain. You wanted control. Now you can have it.